Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. This is Walter. I will be talking or report about standardized test scoring and cumulative and averaging systems of grading. First is the standardized test scoring. A standardized test score is a measurement of a test taker's knowledge of a subject or a set of skills that can be used as a basis for comparison, but only if used properly. There are many different types of test scores used in educational testing. Common ones you may encounter on your child's school reports, or particularly in special education and learning disability assessments include the following. So here is an example of a standard scoring. Test developers calculate the statistical average based on the performance of students tested in the norming process of test development. That score is assigned a value. These standard deviations are used to determine what scores fall within the above average, average, and below average ranges. Standard scores and standard deviations are different for different tests. Many of the commonly used tests, such as the Wechsler intelligence scales, have an average score of 100 and standard deviation of 15. We also have here percentiles. These scores show how a student's performance compares to others tested during test development. A student who scores at the 50th percentile performed at least as well as 50% of students his age. A score at the 50th percentile is within the average range. For example, if you score 75 points on a test and are ranked in the 85th percentile, it means that the score 75 is higher than 85% of the scores. Next is the z-score, a numerical measurement that describes a value's relationship to the mean of a group of values and is measured in terms of standard deviations from the mean. If a z-score is 0, it indicates that the data point score is identical to the mean score. We also have here the t-scores. T-scores range in intervals of 10 to 90 points. 50 is average on this scale, and the average range is usually between 40 and 60. A t-score is a standard deviation, a mathematical term that calculates how much a result varies from the average or mean. The score that you receive from your bone density, BMD or DXA test is measured as a standard deviation from the mean. And as you can see on the image, you can see, I'm not sure no if you can see it clearly. It's on the middle part of the image or on the numbers, no? I think third, no, nasa kuan. So, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 mo na ang nakabutang din sa image. I don't know how to read that yet, but sooner it will make sense more. It will make more sense, okay? We also have here the STAN9 or STAN9 score. The STAN9 scale is also called the Standard 9 scale. These score range from 1 to 9, with 5 being average. Scores below 5 are below average. Scores above 5 are above average. For instance, a STAN9 score of 1, 2, or 3 is below average. 4, 5, or 6 is average, and 7, 8, or 9 is above average. The Star 9 score shows the general level of achievement of a child, below average, average, or above average. So here is an example of a standard 9 percentage. No? There are at least 4% of the students who got 1, 7% of the students got 2, 12% got 3, 17% got 4, 5% got 5, 17% got 6, 12% got 7, and 7% got 8, and only 4% got the perfect score, the 9. Okay? So, next is the scaled scores. This type of test score score involves presenting different scores on a number of subtests, each of which assesses a specific skill or area. In many cases, these scaled scores are then combined in order to arrive at an overall composite score. A scaled score is a representation of the total number of correct answers, also known as raw scores. A candidate has provided that has been converted onto a consistent and standardized scale. Scaled scores indicate the same level of performance, regardless of which form a candidate has received. Okay, we we are now gone to cumulative and averaging system. The cumulative and averaging systems of grading in the Philippines, we have two different reading systems, and to name them, it is the cumulative grading system and averaging grading system. First is the cumulative grading period. So in this, the grade of a particular student is equal to his grade in the current grading period, which has also the cumulative effects of the previous grading periods. So most of us are acquainted to this kind of grading system because this is the one that we are using in college, where in every end of the semester we obtain a final grade, which is composed by a few percentages of the previous grades that we have. And some of the current grading term, like for example, in our grades that we have in the final term, we obtain like 70% of that. And then 30 from the midterm to make up the final grade that we have in the end of the semester. Now, the next is the averaging system, where the grade of a student on a particular grading period is equal to the average of grades obtained in the prior grading periods and the current grading period. So this kind of grading system is what we have encountered in high school, where in all of our grades in different subjects are added up and divided into how many subjects do we have. And then the final result will be our average. And that is all. And thank you for listening.